item on the agenda is the approval of the minutes of the January 16th special meeting. Got a copy of those minutes in your packet. Any suggested changes, corrections, or amendments to the minutes at this time?
Move to approve minutes as presented.
I'll second.
Have a motion and a second to approve the reading of the minutes, or the presentation of the minutes to the court. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, like sign? Motion carries. Next item on the agenda is the approval of the monthly bills. You have those bills before you. Is there any questions about the bills or suggested changes? Addie, are these standard?
That's a standard.
Nothing extraordinary. Okay. What's the pleasure of the court with regard to the bills?
Make a motion to pay the bills as presented.
Have a motion to approve payment of the bills by Commissioner Adams,
Second motion.
second by Commissioner Daniel. Any other discussion? If not, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Next item on the agenda is the regular monthly bill from the jail that we do the transfers with each month. Any comments about the jail? I don't want to make some little statement about the jail. I just, it's a shame that it seems to be the fastest growing and the most recession-proof, if you will, thing that I've ever seen, because it keeps growing and growing and costs us an absolute fortune. When you stop and think that Johnson County's total revenue, total amount of payment that we get from our property taxes, our share of county property taxes, is a little over $400,000 or $500,000 in that.
Yes.
And I think that our revenue is now just a little bit less than what our jail bill is, which is about $500,000 a year.
Yeah, we have one
We have
medical bill.
constitutionally, we got no choice, we got to pay it. But it's the fastest growing. Well, we got an audit sitting here today, and I guarantee you, he'll make some comment about the jail. I hope he does, but he hears the same story out of here every time we talk.
We have one medical bill here for almost $3,200.
Yeah.
I'll make the motion we do the transfer.
Motion by Commissioner Gamble to pay the bill, or make the transfer from the general fund to the jail fund from 4909 to the general fund to 4901.
Second.
Have a second by Commissioner Adams. Any other discussion? Not all in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. This time we've got Mr. Blair here from Wells and Company with an audit report. Earl, feel free.
My name is Darrell Blair, and I'm here to present the audit of the Johnson County Fiscal Court for the fiscal year ending June 30, 2017. You guys have your audit reports. If you would turn over 2 pages, this year is your executive summary. We have issued an unmodified opinion based on our financial statements of the audit of your statement of receipts, disbursements, and changes in fund balance regulatory basis of Johnson County Fiscal Court. Financial condition. The Johnson County Fiscal Court had total receipts $7,538,014, and disbursements of $7,990,541 in the fiscal year 2017. This resulted in total ending fund balance of $4,163,891, which is a decrease of $476,063 from the prior year. You guys would turn over to page number 6.
6, did you say?
6. This here is your statement of receipts, disbursements, and changes in fund balances regulatory basis. The general fund, we had total receipts, $4,330,974. Total disbursements, $3,916,916. For excessive receipts over disbursements for other adjustments to cash, $414,058. We have other adjustments to cash and uses. The payroll revolving account went down $23,536, and we transferred out to other funds $483,660. For total other adjustments to cash uses, a negative $507,196. For overall net change in fund balance, $93,138 deficit, which means you spent that more than what you actually took in. We have fund balance beginning, which is pretty much your cash. Start with $1,106,820. Now gives you fund balance ending $1,013,682. And as the judge said before, you guys probably, you'd been operating in the black if it hadn't been for the transfer to the jail fund of $480,000.
Say that again, closer to the microphone if you would, please.
I said the general fund would have been in good shape if it hadn't had to transfer out $480,000 to the jail fund to cover the medical bills. Next, we have the road fund. We have total receipts, $1,798,366. We have total disbursements, $2,186,182. For a deficiency of receipts over disbursements for other adjustments to cash uses, $387,816, which gives us a net change in fund balance, $387,816, and that's what you spent more than what you took in during the road fund. For overall ending fund balance, $2,063,927. Now, if you would, turn over to page number 8. I'll go pretty much over your totals now because pretty much all your other funds is restricted for a specific purpose. Overall total funds, receipts, $7,538,014. Total disbursements, $7,990,541. With a deficiency of receipts over disbursements for other adjustments to cash uses, $452,527. We had total other adjustments to cash and uses of $23,536 deficit, which gives you a net change in fund balance for all funds, a negative $476,063, which gives us an ending fund balance, $4,163,891. As far as your audit goes, I give you guys a clean audit with no findings. You guys worked really hard, and it shows. So therefore, I commend you guys for staying within your budget and trying to keep the county as far as healthy. Also, I'd like to add that Johnson County Fiscal Court is very fortunate financially compared to these other counties. You have strong leadership in which have kept the county where it's at financially. Most other counties are financially struggling right now. The Johnson County Fiscal Court over the years has made several improvements with all the blacktopping to all these county roads, and they haven't had to borrow any funds to do this, which is really wonderful. But going forward, the judge and I have been talking as far as on several different occasions as far as right now your expenses are pretty much outpacing your revenues. So we need to try to do something with our revenues because we've had a lot of cuts at the state and federal level, which means less money coming into the county. So we probably need to try to figure out what we could do to keep our revenues at least in line with our expenses, so we can pretty much keep growing and without incurring any additional debt. Any questions?
Any comments? Then we appreciate that. Like you said, I just got back from the conference Friday, the judges' conference, and pretty much everybody you stop and talk to in the hallway down there, they're all in the same boat, pretty much. A lot of them are seriously in trouble. But, and the road fund that you mentioned there is really the only fund that we really have pretty tight controls on. That road fund budget is specific, that we can't spend it for, not a penny of it for anything except road maintenance. And that formula is the same formula that's calculated for all the other counties that participate in the road aid agreement. So we can spend X number of dollars that we budget and know that we're going to have at least that much coming next year, unless something changes in our formula. And about the only way they can change it is go back and restructure everything on how we got to where we are now. It's based on miles of road and population and that sort of thing. So we have a little bit of control over that, but the jail, we've got no control whatsoever over the jail, and I doubt we ever will. But I'm concerned out there. I'm concerned that, which jail is it? Not Round County's building a new jail, is it?
Yes.
Okay, Round County. Okay, I can't remember which one. They've got a lot of prisoners out here at this jail from Morgan and some of those other places.
Elliott County. Morgan and Elliott.
Yeah, in Elliott County, and they're probably going to lose a bunch of inmates. Now, unless the state comes in and pushes more state inmates in here, then they could have a very huge shortfall pretty soon. And that's just waiting on something to happen. It may not, but then again, it possibly, it certainly could. So I'm glad that we got a good audit, a clean audit, and compliment the court on its fiduciary responsibility. And thank you guys, Kevin, for trying to keep us on the right track. I'm sorry. But we do appreciate what you do for us.
Thank you.
Need a motion to approve the audit.
Make that motion.
Motion by Commissioner Adams,
Second.
and a second. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, signify by saying aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Is this the final report, Sheriff, this for last fiscal year? Is there any indication in Clef that anything like that might be targeted for, I know they're going to be looking everywhere they can find a dollar down there.
Not for Clef, I think it's gonna be safe.
When you're facing a financial problem like they've got with that pension plan, every agency that spoke to us the last couple of days, that's all they talked about, was 6% cuts here and there, and pretty much nobody's immune to it. So, I don't know what you do, unless you look at the 2 trillion or whatever that was that was handed down by Trump the other day. I don't know how anybody is going to survive without additional revenue. And the problem is, counties and small cities, and we're the last guys on the totem pole. So it's not going to be a bright future, I don't think, unless something changes somewhere. And they have got to get that pension thing resolved. There's thousands and thousands of people that's impacted with that. Are they operating right now? Are they fully operational over there, that violence against women thing? They've got the safe havens or?
Yes, sir.
Is it? Okay. I would think, I don't know how long that kind of grant would be available, but I would think that would have the possibility of being a pretty good program.
It has, it's done well. It's been renewed for next year at this point.
Yeah, they hollered the other day, and you see all the time or hear all the time about domestic violence. And that's been especially in the news for the last 2 or 3 weeks, really. But I think that the idea, I'm just surprised that they just now come up with it. Well, the idea of keeping those parties apart, and it couldn't have anything but a good effect, I wouldn't think, if they could afford to maintain that thing. But I didn't know. I haven't walked over there. I talked to a couple of those girls the other day, and they're very pleased with what's going on. Is this about the same as last year? I mean,
We took in a lot more last year than we did the year before.
anybody got any questions about their financial statement for 2017, 2018? Pleasure to court. Will entertain a motion.
Move to approve the 2017 financial report, sure.
Have a motion? And a second. Any other discussion? Hearing none, in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye. Any
opposed? Motion carries. Next item is the clerk's fourth quarter financial report. Staff, is there anything, looks like we've had projections for $6,015,584. And your actual was 6.5. So you had a little bump too in your receipts. What do you attribute that to?
We had a pretty good year last year. We took in a little bit more than we anticipated.
Where does that come from?
Motor vehicle license.
We've got an election coming up. Do you budget in an election year? Is there, and I know it's been moved around, but is there any consideration being given by the state to increase the supplemental payments to counties to offset those costs, do you know?
Not that I'm aware of.
We've talked 2 or 3 times, our legislative committee has, and tried to, over the years, get some interest, but we can't get any interest either. I didn't know if the clerks had even looked at that issue. I think this is self-explanatory too, guys. Unless anybody's got any questions, Sally, now. Increased, our budget, numbers went up pretty much $500,000, looks like, more. Pleasure of the court with regard to the clerks.
Make a motion to accept the fourth quarterly report from the clerk's office.
Have a motion by Commissioner Adams to accept the 4th quarter report from the clerk's office.
Second.
And a second, any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, signify by saying aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Next item is personnel discussion. We, as you all know, or most of you would know, that Sam Oxford was our road foreman and for many years. Sam did an outstanding job and was very valuable to us, and then he decided he was going to trade, I guess, a 4-wheel drive for a lazy boy over to. He told me he's going to get out and knock around a little bit on the farm, but didn't have any other things in mind. And so we wish him the very best. He really was truly an asset to us. And he was a valuable employee for me, and I wish him the very best. We were lucky than most, I think luckier than most, in that Willard had been working with Sam almost on a daily basis. For how many years?
Ever since he's been there, right at 25 plus
That's
years.
what I thought. So here was a guy that was uniquely qualified at a time when you lost a valuable asset that could step in, and I don't think anybody's going to fill his shoes. Me, Willard, and the commissioners or anybody else. But we're going to try, and Willard certainly is, as I said, he's uniquely qualified. We are going to try to do something that I'm not sure that's going to work, but we're going to give it a whack. We have, in the interest of those discussions with the auditor, the last 2 or 3 years, we've not filled any jobs in the fiscal court at all. None. And we've got 2 or 3 vacancies down there. Is it, Willard? How many?
There'll be 3 total.
Okay. And we thought we're going to try to continue this and do the best we can with it. So in looking at this vacancy, I asked Willard to step out of the box a little bit and give me an idea. Was there any chance in the world that we could maybe eliminate the salary and the cost, personnel costs, for another employee? And Willard came back and we talked about it, and he came back and made a presentation to me that he wants to try that. So we're looking at splitting up those job duties. Willard would take all of the field operations associated with that job. He would take a good part of the administrative work with him, those activities, because a lot of those FEMA and things of that nature, he may not have a catastrophe on wood for 20 years, and then tonight the dam may break someplace up the river, and we're already across the underpass, I understand, down there. But we never know on FEMA whether or not we'll ever have another catastrophe. But if it happens, we have to have somebody on the job, knows the system, and so we give Willard those kind of duties that he's going to keep. And we're also going to transfer some of those administrative duties from Willard to the road department, and we're going to take some of those administrative duties to the judge's office and see how we can make that work. It's going to take a lot of effort, and we're going to stump our toe a couple times along the way, but we'll get there hopefully. Now, to do that, I need authority from you guys to rewrite our personnel policies and job descriptions and setting up the new jobs and the classifications and so forth to make this legal. And I would ask at this time that you give me that authority, and we'll make these changes, come back and talk to the court about when we're implementing, or we'll go ahead and implement it, I think that matters. But when we make it permanent, and we're still going to try to keep those other jobs unfilled. And I think we can, we've been along with that one now for what, over a year,
Probably.
So we've got 2 jobs that we're going to try to leave unfilled. And that's another effort trying to save money wherever we can. So you guys have any questions about what we're trying to do?
I'll make that motion. Give you permission to do it.
Yeah, I've got a motion from Commissioner Gamble authorizing me to make those changes and rewrite our personnel policy to incorporate new classification, and we fill this job at the same salary level that it is now. There'll be no increases in the salary level or anything like that.
I'll second that motion.
I have a second, Darren, and second by, or motion by Darren, second by Paul. Any further discussion? Not all in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Judge, just to clarify on that, you said there would be no salary increase
I mean, on other
on the other.
areas.
Okay.
There will be on the rewrites, and Willard's moving into a job, because we're going to change the other job. Willard's job, the other job, and one probably the judge's job. But none of the other personnel listing would be for the
Clarification, thank you.
Next item is the sheriff's budget, second reading. As I said last month, we looked at the sheriff's budget last month, and his estimated revenue for this year is $385.12. And obviously his disbursements will be the same. You have it's like 8 or 10, or maybe 1 or 2 less. List of data that goes with that. Mike, do I have to read all these?
I wouldn't think so.
Press, you guys have a copy of them.
Press has got a copy and entertain any questions.
As long as you guys,
Like somebody from the sheriff's office is here to answer questions.
and if anybody got any questions after the meeting, tomorrow or whenever, be sure you can holler at us. But just to kind of skim through it, but one of the bigger transactions is the finance and administration, $121,000. Academy for Human Resources, $6,700. Commission on taxes collected, is it 4% or 2%, what is it?
4.25 on everything but school's just 4.
Is that a concession they make to schools all over the state, or is that?
Pretty much.
Fiscal court gets 10,000, clerk gets 35,000. Commission, there's a commission again. Sheriff's add-on penalty is 30,000, looks like. Serving papers, 32,000. And all those, I did not, smaller ones, combines to make expected revenue, or revenues of $666,000. You have disbursements. In the disbursements are included the sheriff's salary, deputies' gross salaries, part-time deputies' gross salaries, overtime gross of $11,000. Mountain comp through those funds, I guess, or those. I thought we had 3 projects with mountain comp. Is one of them over, or do we have it?
No, we just got the 2, the domestic violence and the safe haven. Advertising 800, vehicle maintenance 17,000, office materials, supplies 8,000, uniforms 4,000, gasoline 41,000, police equipment 7,000, summonses collected. They collect summons, I don't know who collects summons for us. Yeah, that's the part that, every $50 we get for a summons, we give you all $10
okay.
of it.
Okay, I remember it now. Those are all relatively small. Oil expense.
$664,000.
Another outlay there. Okay, the disbursements obviously are going to match the revenues. 664,385 or 5 inches. I can see that. Yeah, the glasses, please. So is there any questions about the second reading? I'll entertain a motion to approve the second reading of the sheriff's budget.
So moved.
Motion by Commissioner Daniels, second by Kathy. Wait a minute, we better do that. Yeah, we're going to do the line item by line item, and we do the pages with
Such wages and salaries.
settlement. How do we handle? I know you got some guys that have retired under the state police program, and I know that there's no payment withheld for pension or anything like that. But do we withhold Social Security and those withholdings too?
Yeah, those
I
are
thought
federal.
I thought we did.
Just a motion to approve the maximum salary and wages, that's all in one motion.
Pardon?
Is that all in one motion, the maximum?
Yes,
salary?
all in one motion, we need,
On a line item basis.
yeah. And we've got a projected number of $451,816 for deputies, assistants, and other employees. That includes full-time wages and salaries, overtime wages, part-time salaries and wages, vacation and sick leave. Any other questions? If not, entertain a motion to accept the sheriff's second reading.
So moved.
Motion to Paul and second to Kathy. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. That's all we have listed as an item, but we've got a couple of things I want you to do. Did you get a copy of the Willard, did you give them a copy of Vatican's agent?
I gave a copy of it to Ed.
Okay.
I gave it to you.
Well, I've got it, I didn't know if they had it or not. Every year we have to elect or name for FEMA in the event there is a disaster or something. Applicant's agents in the past, it's been Sam, I guess, and now he's gone. We need to bring Willard in and have him stand in, and it'll be me and Willard then under this new setup.
Motion to accept that.
Yeah, motion by Kathy to accept that. And the second, any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Gary McClure would have been here with his Gary McClure would have been here with his
Can't hear him, can you?
report, but he's down at the flooding area. We expect that river, they told us last night, the Weather Service did, that it might crest at 37 feet, but then this morning they changed it to 32 feet. Well, that's a big difference. If 32 stands, it's about 32 now, it was before we come in here, which starts flooding around the underpass or overpass down there. So he's down there with those guys, and CNO hasn't opened up the railroad yet. There's still some traffic moving on some of the bigger vehicles. But he said they would, at some point in time, have to shut down the whole thing probably. So he's not here. Sheriff, I got a letter from you, and I was out of town almost all of last week, and I was from Tuesday morning to Friday, and you asked in the letter for the court to consider to provide a vehicle or 4 vehicles, I guess, for your office. And
Judge, we just looking at one.
pardon?
We were just looking at one.
Well, I understand it was, I thought you said a vehicle plus a half of another one or something. Just a second, I got it.
It's just one Cordell has, it's a 17, it's only got like 8,000 or 9,000 miles on it. Some minor front end damage.
You what?
It's got some minor front end damage, but like I say, he's going to fix it.
Dwayne, the problem is, our budget is on a different basis than yours. Our budget is on a fiscal year basis, and our budget is already established. And we will operate under this budget until July 1, we'll adopt the next one. But any money that we've got, and we don't have, you heard the audit, we don't have excess fees. He said, we'd be able to operate in the black if we'd done a couple of things in jail and things of that nature. And we don't have money set aside for a reserve. We're losing revenue in pretty much every category that we used to get. And if we take $1 out of this pot over here and move it over here, then somebody is going to suffer in this pot. And we've had this conversation, I know we had before. And, I'd like to tell you that we're going to be able to do that. Matter of fact, at the meeting the other day in Louisville, I talked to Secretary Tilley, who's head of the Department of Justice. And I told him that, I said, is there any kind of programs? And he told me about the programs that they've had in the past, that they're still doing it, and he's the judge. You're no different than anybody else, and we're no different than you. He said, we've got permission by the legislature to hire 1,100 troopers. He said, we only have 11, I believe he said 1125 or 1130 or something like that. Or 830. So he said they're 275 jobs short, and a good part of that was because of costs. They're trying to not fill jobs if they don't have to. But he also told me that, he said, our vehicles are no different. He said, out of the, I believe he said 76, either 73 or 76 troopers that will graduate from the next academy. He said, we'll not be driving new vehicles. They will be driving Crown Victorias with an average of 160,000 miles on them. And I think they quit making that Crown Vic The one I got, they told me,
And 11,
yeah, I believe it was 2011 was the last one that they made. But the problem is without additional revenue, we're strapped on what we can do. And just like in the numbers a while ago, we were talking about what we pay for free in your office. With regard, we furnish the office, you pay no rent, you pay no utilities, you pay no maintenance or building maintenance or whatever. You pay no liability coverage at all just for insurance on new vehicles. I know you've got,
I mean, we understand those, Ty. It was just a suggestion, and, I mean, we can make do.
well, you know, I don't really know. I know I've talked to several other people in your job. And from much larger counties than we are, that their costs are a lot cheaper than ours. And, you know, I don't know. Anyway, I talked to one guy from a county that's got about 60,000 people in it, and they've got, I think, four office employees and 6 deputies. I've talked to several other people that are in that same ballpark. Now, I don't know how that shakes out in the end. How they handle things, I don't know. I don't think that your court security people aren't allowed to do much of anything except work the court, isn't it, and maybe transport prisoners and things of that nature. And somebody told me Pike County had a whole bunch of, what they call them, special deputies or something. Wouldn't that be, and I'm surprised that a county that big would be doing that. It seems like there'd be some liability there. If you got a lot of people that are special deputies and they're, maybe don't have the correct training or something like that, it looks like that, you know, that'd be a pretty big obligation to put on anybody's shoulders. And I don't know how they do that, but they assured me, their fiscal court members, 3 of them, assured me that's what they did. But the fact of the matter is, and I think your first budget, or not maybe not the first one, but I got that section. You seem to be doing a pretty good job on fees. I don't know how you're doing that either. I'm just like, well, a while ago, if the economy's down and not doing well at all, and you're still doing well with fees, and we've got more people buying cars and have to get them inspected, or you're serving more papers or something's generating it. I don't know what it is, but thank goodness it's happening. But you know, you guys done a good job. You're very professional, and I appreciate what you're doing. But it's just something that we don't have available money. You know, we're trying to help senior citizens right now. And you know, we'd like to write them a check today, but we can't do it. And I've been working on a project for them for quite a while, and we may get part of that. And I'm going to try to get creative and pick up the local part if I can. But there's no guarantee that we can do that. And if we look at all back to what we're paying for you that you're not seeing or the public's not seeing, is the cost of fringe benefits. Every employee you've got that's drawing a paycheck out there that is eligible for a pension, we're paying, and it was 19.6, that is that right?
Yes,
And it's going to go to,
24.2.
28.
28.2.
yeah, 28 point something,
9%.
yeah.
Yeah.
So that would take, our costs just for payroll up to about $65,000 a year. If you throw in health insurance premiums, which is $122,000 that we pay, that the employees don't pay, we got 9 or 10, I believe 9 employees on retirement, which would take that number I mentioned a while ago up to 65,000. So the total cost that we pay right now for the sheriff's office is almost $250,000. And that's a lot of money, and yeah, we could.
Well, like I said, Judge, this is a suggestion, like I said, we can make
I wish it was different, and I wish there was some way that we could have enough money to do everything we want to do, but we can't do it. Paul, you guys got anything to say?
Well, like you said, we made adjustments everywhere we've been made and still finished the year $500,000 short almost.
And we're not filling jobs. We haven't filled a job in Mount Island. I didn't fill the deputy judge's job. We didn't fill, we filled the road foreman's new job. But we left Willard, moving out of his job is going to free up some additional money in that regard. But we're doing everything we can do to try to keep our heads above water. But we don't have any additional revenue. And something's got to change. Something has got to change on revenue. And I'm hearing some people, and of course you hear everything in elections. I'm hearing some guys are saying, I'll never vote to raise taxes. Well, I got news for them. If they can't pay the bills, if they get elected and they can't pay the bills, and they say we ain't changing nothing, it'll be changed for them. And Breathitt County, about 20 years ago, I think, can speak to that. But I think people up there, it's a red issue more for one of those guys. But it's tough, and people can't just say, I'm not going to do this, I'm not going to do that, no matter what happens. And for God's sake, nobody wants to raise taxes. But I don't want to see people go broke either. I don't want the county to go bankrupt. But that's, you guys have any comments? That's all I can tell you is there's no solution, I don't think, to your problem, the way things are right now.
Well, like I said, we understand, we appreciate your own consideration.
What's the pleasure, guys?
before.
Well, are we closed up?
Do we adjourn?
Yeah, that's what I was, and motion to adjourn.
I promise you, I'll
Second.
Got a second.
5:26.